your hand.
Somebody's got it.
Well,
Hello.
hi.
Hi. When Michael Rosenbaum is here, right there? Okay. When Michael Rosenbaum is here, he entertained the crowd with some impressions of the characters of his fellow castmates.
Great.
Which I understand, you know, if you worked together for many years as you did, maybe that's the kind of thing that happens behind set, I'm not sure. But he did a great Clark Kent and Lionel Luthor, I believe, and I was wondering if any of the panelists do impressions of any of the other characters on the show you'd like to share for, you know, revenge.
Not like Michael. He's a genius.
Yeah.
He can do a Chris Walken. He does a great Kevin Spacey.
He does do a really good thing.
Yeah. I'm actually honored that he does me. But I would never do him.
It's getting late.
He's from Torchwood.
That I was just seeing.
I think actors who do impressions of their colleagues in public usually are very good at doing impressions of their colleagues in public.
Yes, that's what we're not doing anymore. Well, how about another question?
Good question for Allison, because we adore the character Chloe, and you are the one who gives her life. But the particular aspect I want to ask about is how do you always, you obviously are a confident performer before a camera, but you gave a feeling of confidence and intelligence, and even more important, an intuition about what was going on with the characters around you. And how do you emote that as an actress?
How do I evoke intuition? You know, I don't know. I mean, I just play what they wrote. But no, I think that I was fortunate in that I played a well-written character. She was interesting. She was conflicted. She was loyal, but she still had struggles. And I think that I was fortunate enough to be cast in a character that had a lot of complexity and depth. And so I played her with as much honesty and authenticity as I could. And then, you know, they surrounded me with people that I really loved playing with and playing off of. So Tom Welling was delightful for 10 years, you know, and we developed a really wonderful bond. And actually got to the point where we as actors could read each other quite well. I mean, he knew me better than a lot of people in my life just because we worked together so much. So maybe some of the intuition that you were picking up on was the relationship that we had established with one another over 10 years. Yeah.
Hi, first of all, I just want to say I love all of you on Smallville. It's one of my favorite shows. But my question is for you, Allison. You know, one of the factors of the show is that we spend so much time looking at Clark and his journey and his superhero moments, but I think what the beauty of Chloe is her human superhero moments. I just want to know which one of those brave, strong moments is your favorite.
Oh my, I had so many. I really did. I was so lucky. I got to do so many cool things on that show. And which one was my favorite? I really did have so many. Like, there was that great moment, I think in season 5, when I tell him that I know that he has powers and he tells me that he's an alien, and then he super speeds out and I catch the cup, you know, that kind of flies back at me in the wind of his exodus or whatever. You know, and I just look at the camera and I say, cool. There were so many, or you know, like times when I I can't be specific, I'm sorry. I'm grasping at straws here, but no, I loved like the last 2 seasons when I got to be Watchtower and I got to, you know, really take charge and tell people what to do and they listened to me. That was really cool. Because there were some times there, you know, there were a few seasons where nobody paid attention to what Chloe said, and that was a little rough. So when they actually started to listen, that was quite cool. But yeah, no, I mean, I think in general, just playing such a smart and grounded and aggressive, passionate character was wonderful. And then when I got to start wearing like really cool suits and everybody started really paying attention and taking me seriously, it was great.
Hi, would each of you mind doing short impersonations of your characters for us today?
I don't know how, it's been so long since Lionel's been around. What?
Which Lionel?
Which Lion?
Good Lionel, bad Lionel?
Oh, the first 7 years of Lionel, not the alternate universe Lionel. He was nowhere still. What?
Good Lionel, bad Lionel. You could never really tell, was he good or was he bad?
Exactly, he was a human. Yes, what are we? We want to be good, but sometimes we mess up. I can't do that. Do us.
I think the hair and makeup people always used to tease me. The impersonation that went around a lot for that was Clark. Yeah, because I was always getting knocked out or choked. You know, we would have to do something cool so that we could show that we had super hearing, because that was a big way that, you know, we always like to show the superpowers. So I was always Clark. Looking out.
I never strangled you, did I?
No, you didn't strangle me. You hired people to strangle me.
No. Yes.
Well, I could, but I won't. But thank you for the invitation.
I guess mine would be, Clark, you're not ready. Trying to teach him to fly. 4 seasons. I tried. I really tried.
To
To teach him to fly.
It's just not a good learner.
No. That was fakes. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it, Kate.
Well, first off, hi. How are you guys doing? My question is, how do you guys feel about the 11th season going to comic book, and if you guys even knew about it?
I learned about it at the last Comic-Con I was at, or the convention I was at. So I didn't know about it. I found out about it when someone asked me to sign it. I think it's neat. It's nice to know that people still like it, you know what I mean? And that it's still going and that the stories are still being told. It's weird to open it up and look at my face, you know, like that's a little, like that is, I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. But I think it's awesome that the stories are still being told and that there's, you know, more legends to unfold.
Who's writing it? Do you know? Do you know?
No.
Brian Q. Miller.
Who?
Oh, Brian Miller is Brian. You remember Brian?
Yeah, I heard about it at a convention as well last year. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So it was happening.
They don't keep us so much in the loop.
Alright, so last year, Rosenbaum and Laura, you guys talked about some scenes you had with Tom where he was not wearing any pants.
Yeah.
Did the others experience that?
No pants at all?
The context, we would shoot in the loft all of our little family heartfelt moments, and it would get hot. You know, he's a big guy. So whenever we'd shoot above the waist, he took his pants off and just had his shorts and his Birkenstocks and his socks.
And he wore basketball shorts, so he wasn't like in
Not
tight
like
whities
tight
hanging out.
Basketball shorts.
He never did that with me.
See, I'm complaining.
Yeah, right. No, Superman can't sweat. And that was, and it's true. So, I mean, if you think about it, he can't believe he can't sweat unless he's got kryptonite around him. And so that's hard when you're filming in a, small space that's up high, and heat rises, and you have massive amounts of lights on you, and you're 6'4" and fit. Like, try not sweating for 4 hours in a row. So they had this massive tube of air conditioning that they would bring in and shoot on his legs to try and cool him down so that he wouldn't sweat, because if he did, we'd have to start the scene over again, and sometimes we'd get a little ridiculous. So they learned to put him in these Birkenstocks and basketball shorts whenever we weren't shooting his full body, and it kept him cool.
You can't all see, but I assure you that John Glover is wearing basketball shorts.
And that's all.
My question is for everybody. After working on a show that became so big and could really have gone on forever, what was it like to finally say goodbye after 10 years of growing up an entire generation almost?
We were just talking about that actually back in the hall. It was weird. It was great because I was ready to move on, and I mean, I think, it had been 10 years, that's a long, long time, and I was hungry to do something different. But then it was also somewhat terrifying and a little bit, and very strange, because for 10 years I had woken up and known who I was going to see in the morning, and I knew where I was going to go, and when I had time off I knew I would go back to a job, and there was something very comfortable about the consistency of that, and so leaving that was weird. And then also, it's sort of like, how like when you're in a relationship with someone and you see them every day, and then the relationship ends and then you don't see them again, and it's strange. It's like, how did I saw you and spoke to you like 3 or 4 times a day, and now I never talk to you. It feels like there's a bit of a void, and it was the same type of thing. There's a slight vacancy in your life that feels strange. So while it was wonderful and exciting and great to move on, and I was ready, so ready to move on when we did, it was also like very bittersweet and sort of discombobulating.
I mean, I didn't do 10 years, but I did do 4 on and off. And it was, for me, it was difficult to say goodbye to some of the cast that I worked with. Unfortunately, I didn't work with a lot of people on this panel, as much as I would have liked to, but it was difficult to say goodbye. I sort of got my bearings on that show and how it all worked in the sci-fi world. And I feel like they could have had a better send-off from Supergirl, like saying goodbye to Clark in person somehow. I just flew away. Yeah, it irritated me. So other than that, it was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't change anything. I've learned quite a bit from actors on the show, and I loved it. So I'm excited.
It was a nice 7 years for me. I had a really wonderful time. And I was surprised when they called me back, because they'd already killed me a couple of times. Just a puzzlement. And then they killed me a couple more. So I was really dead.
I didn't have this experience of longevity on Smallville. I wish I had. My appearances were brief and succinct in the finales of the last 2 series. But I got such a strong sense from the cast and the crew that I worked with that this enduring experience that everyone had together was all the more profound for having been filmed in Vancouver, so away, and therefore the authenticity of Smallville as a place and as a concept, my concept, was all the more rooted, I think, in everybody who was a part of it. And I feel a little bit like the lame boy in the story of the Pied Piper, who couldn't keep up with the Pied Piper as all the other children went into the mountain. So I wish I had a deeper experience of a Smallville life. I've never been involved in a television series with for any length, but I tell the panel that I dreamt about Smallville last night, and that I was very much at the heart of things.
You know, I've never done a series before Smallville either, and it's an amazing thing to see this family pull together. The first season, I was only there for 6 or 7 episodes because I didn't have a contract, so I kept getting other work, and I wasn't around, and then they bought me, and I had to be there, whatever they said. But see, there was this, I mean, it always wasn't, I mean, it's like a real family, you know. It's a big family, and they're sour apples sometimes, and you have to learn how to deal with all kinds of things. But there is this incredible family that comes together for the same purpose, and it gets quite strong. And I think we were very lucky from a lot of things I've heard, that we had a very good, healthy family. And it was yes, even when Lex pushed me out the window in that season 7, I felt a kind of freedom, but a sadness that my son killed me.
My question is for John. You know, for the majority of the show, you had really long hair, and then there was one episode when you completely shaved it off. Did you actually shave your head for that role?
Yes. Yes. I offered my hair up to Miles when he was in the makeup trailer. He said, if you film it, I'll shave it. And I thought he jumped up and down so hard, I thought he was going to hit the ceiling of the makeup trailer. He was so happy. It was good, that ending, wasn't it? Yeah. And they got you know, there was a real big Rick. Rick did the stunts, and he was this huge guy with black hair and tattoos, and he did the martial arts and things. And so they put him in an orange uniform, and he was the guy that was going to shave my head. And he was so nervous about it when he went to do it. His hands were shaking. He couldn't do it, so they had to put the Richard, the hair guy, in his orange uniform and have his hands do it. He was such a sweet man. He was so scared to shave my hair. He was afraid, I think he would hurt me. He was a doll. Sweetheart, but so scary looking. Yeah. Thank you.
This is a question for all of you guys. How often did you as actors have a chance to do anything with the script? If you got a hold of it and thought, well, my character wouldn't do this, how much creative input did you ever have?
It depended. I think more than